this imagined war game, China begins the first escalation by mounting a sudden machine gun attack on Indian troops on the Doklam Plateau, killing 20 of them and injuring more than 15. Facing nothing but rhetoric and warmongering for over a year, the Indian forces are stunned by the attack. Now clear that China plans to take it all the way. The 15-month military build-up by China was used as a ruse to intimidate and silence India. But now it's become clear that Beijing means to actually pull the trigger in the biggest way possible, and that is precisely what happens in the war game. A fortnight after the attack, China opens up its true war weapons. For the first time in history, launching tactical ballistic missiles on Indian targets. Chinese missiles with conventional warheads smashed down into the Indian Army's 33 Corps headquarters in Siliguri and the 2 division headquarters in Gangtok and Kalimpong. Another barrage of missiles caused severe damage at India's crucial forward air bases at Tezpur, Chabua and Jalpaiguri. Then comes the ground assault. Indian intelligence units on the border realize that a Chinese Special Forces brigade has been heli-dropped near the Doklam Plateau and is making its way into Indian territory. Packed with troops, Chinese Mi-17 and A-352 choppers bring their army's most formidable ground troops into action. Providing protection to the Chinese forces on ground, Chinese fighter jets fly in, taking the attack several notches higher by bringing in air power. But by now the Indian Air Force already has warbirds in the air, fully anticipating the vicious Chinese escalation. The Chinese jets encounter Indian pilots in Indian airspace in the first major air battle in decades. The far better trained Indian Su-30 pilots managed to shoot down 7 Chinese jets, losing just 1 of their own. India has managed to fight off China's air attacks, teaching the enemy a bloody and expensive lesson. But the war has only just begun, with Chinese forces managing to align themselves along the crucial Siliguri corridor. A true tank battle begins on ground, with Indian Army tanks and Chinese forces clashing in several parts of the area, including in Sikkim, not far from the Doklam standoff. Having vanquished the Chinese air advance, Indian pilots and their Su-30 fighter jets are then directed to fly straight into Tibet and destroy China's air bases at Lhasa, Bangsa and 2 other bases. Now, hours after hostilities broke out, it's India's turn to open up its formidable tactical weapon. A barrage of BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles are launched to strike deep inside Tibet, destroying Chinese military depots and supply lines, severely damaging Chinese morale and logistics. China simply doesn't realize what's hit them hard. The Chinese Army's light tanks that have silently climbed up into the Chumbi Valley, ready to rumble over the border and into India, had hoped for friendly skies and help from the Chinese Air Force. Sadly for the Chinese tank regiments, they received only hell from above on the morning of September 22, 2018. With Indian Sukhoi's precision bombing at least 40 Chinese tanks, totally decimating the Chinese armoured assault. The same night, Indian tanks zero in on the Chinese Special Forces Brigade that has reached the Siliguri corridor, catching them entirely by surprise. The brigade is bled badly and survivors chased out to other border positions. Meanwhile, the Indian artillery positions have severely damaged Chinese resupply positions on the border to cut off any backup support. With Indian Su-30s and MiG-21s destroying Chinese bridges across the Brahmaputra, the Chinese war effort stands stalled. A nightmare situation for the attacking Red Army. Things now stand ready for India's final act. Finally, with China on the back foot, severely repulsed but still packing a heavy punch, India deploys a tank regiment to completely cut off the Chumbi Valley itself. A heavy Chinese tank division clashes directly with India's T-90 Bhishma tanks in the area, in a battle so close that it would be dangerous for Indian fighter jets to bomb the Chinese tanks. The major ground assault has been tentatively repulsed, with China underestimating the power of India's defences and counter-offensive impulse. But the war isn't just over yet. Bureau Report, India Today.